Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my podcast, Life Treasures and Golden Moments. This is Natalie Silver, and today I would like to do a special podcast in honor of all the mothers out there. And I have a lot to share with you this evening. I have some stories to share, and I want to share a little bit of trivia and a little bit of history. I'd like to start off this evening sharing a little bit of history. Mother's Day is celebrated on the second Sunday in May, and that date changes every year, with a calendar. In 1914, President Woodrow Wilson officially established that the second Sunday of May would be Mother's Day, an official holiday, and he signed the proclamation to make it so. The lady behind the idea of Mother's Day was Anna Jarvis, and she wanted to honor her mother. Her mother had made many sacrifices, and she thought about the women who had also made many sacrifices. So, in honor of their maternal sacrifices and legacies, it inspired her, because of her mother's work in organizing mothers' work clubs and for public health. Jarvis came up with the idea. And the first official gathering of the Mothers Work Club was in 1908 in West Virginia. So, moving forward to 1914, President Woodrow Wilson made it official that every second Sunday in May would be Mother's Day, in honor of all mothers. The holiday quickly grew from a peaceful personal remembrance into a major commercial and widely observed celebration. So here we all are today in 2026, celebrating our mothers. Now I'd like to share with you some trivia that I thought you might find interesting. So when you get together with family, maybe you can use some of this for conversation. The official flower for mothers on Mother's Day is red or pink, and that signifies that they're living mothers. The white carnation signifies that a mother has passed. So if you see someone that has a white carnation, their mother has passed. If you see someone with a red and pink, or red or pink carnation, that means the mother is still living. This holiday is the biggest sales day for restaurants. If you ever try to take mom out on Mother's Day, oh my, you have to wait a long time for a table. It's also the largest holiday for the florists because lots of people are buying flowers for their moms. The most phone calls are also made on Mother's Day, more than any other day through the year. Over 122 million calls are made to mothers. You'll find this interesting. A mother changes roughly 73,000 diapers before the baby turns to age 2. Wow, that's a lot of work. The longest pregnancy on record is 375 days. Animal pregnancy lasts nearly 2 years. The term mom has been invented by babies. As you know, you can listen to them go mum, mum, mum. The most popular Mother's Day gift are greeting cards. Mother's Day is the third largest card sending holiday in the United States. And the second largest, 1 and 2, are Christmas and Valentine's Day. There are over 2 billion mothers worldwide. In the animal world, the animal that is pregnant the longest is an elephant, and their pregnancy lasts about 2 years. There are about 4.3 babies born every second around the world. When a mother smiles at her baby, the baby's heart gets into rhythm with the mother, and their heartbeats beat together. That's really sweet. You'll love this, ladies and gentlemen, who's ever in charge of your children. According to salary.com, approximately, wow, stay-at-home mom would make, if she was compensated for all she does, would be about $163,000 per year. Wow. On the average, first-time moms worldwide are 27 years old. The average age of first-time mothers in the United States is 29. And in United Kingdom, it's 31. So the oldest first-time mothers on average are in Hong Kong, China. They're 32.8 years old when they have their first child. And the largest baby ever born was 22 pounds. And my last bit of trivia is the oldest woman to give birth was 74 years old. And when I was researching and saw that, I thought, what? So anyhow, I looked it up, and I have a little story about this woman who had these babies at 74 years old, and I'm going to share that with you. I hope I'm pronouncing her name properly. It's Era Mati Mangoma. She's an Indian woman, or was an Indian woman from Prussia. She became the oldest verified mother to give birth at age 74 on September 5th of 2019, if you want to look it up. She delivered twin girls via cesarean section, using IVF and donor eggs, concluding a 60-year wait to be parents, supported by a specialized team of doctors at the Al Haya Hospital. Location was in Prussia, India. The method of fertilization was IVF in vitro fertilization, using a donor egg and her husband's sperm, as she had gone through menopause decades earlier. The pregnancy, she remained in the hospital for 9 months under observation by 10 doctors. On the health incomes, the babies were born healthy, weighing about 4.4 pounds each. Her husband, E. Raja Rao, was 80 to 82 years old at the time. After that, he suffered a stroke shortly after the birth of the babies. There were ethical concerns. The case generated significant debate regarding geriatric pregnancies and the ethics of assisted reproduction at any advanced age. The medical risks were deemed a medical miracle by her doctor. Many medical professionals advised against pregnancy at that age due to severe risk. And the previous record, which she broke, the previous record was held by Tajana Kaur, who gave birth at age 72 in 2016, and I did not look up that information. So there you go, a little bit of trivia about motherhood. Hope you enjoyed that little bit of trivia. I'd now like to share 3 stories with you about mothers that I hope you'll enjoy, and it's from the book of Chicken Soup for the Soul, Like Mother, Like Daughter. The first story I'd like to share is called Angel in Disguise, and the author is Alice Munday Bloom. It's a little bit about gratitude and life. Patience and severance have a magical effect, before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish. And that was said by John Quincy Adams. I wouldn't be your daughter if you paid me, I vehemently declared to my new stepmother in response to her introduction and introducing me as her daughter to a man fixing our windows. That was one of the many conflicts we had throughout my high school years and my rebellious youth. My insincerity compelled me to lash out to hurt people before they hurt me. Imagine a divorced woman living in Colorado with two small children, ages 3 and 5, who meets, falls in love with, and decides to marry a man who lives in New Mexico. To do so, she must sell her home, give up the teaching job that she loves, and go to court against her ex-husband in order to be allowed to move her children out of the state. Wow. After all this, she is confronted with two unruly teenagers, my brother and me, who are convinced she is the enemy and the source of all their problems. When she secures a job as a history teacher at their high school, they inform friends and students that she is a bitch. They pick on her children with a relentless cruelty. They embarrass her, insult her, and ignore her. How does she respond? With pure, unconditional love. Out of instinct, Mary Jo exercised tough love long before the term was mainstream. She laid down the rules. Dinner was at 6 p.m., and I had to call by 6 if I wouldn't be there on time. In addition to family dinners, there would be family nights and family vacations. I used to be being independent, and I basically coming and going as I please. Mary Jo wanted to know what my schedule was and who my friends were. The minimal rule was to say hello when I came home and goodbye before going anywhere. I tried to avoid even this sneaking in the house up to my room with friends. She would appear instantly. Hi, I'm Mary Jo, Alice's stepmother. What's your name? When she tried to talk to me, I yelled and walked away. When she tried to hug me, I pushed her away, and she said, I know you don't like it, but I'm going to hug you anyway. She wrote me letters and signed them. I love you, Mary Jo. I tore them up and threw them in the garbage where she could see them. The next letter said, I know you're going to tear this up. I love you anyway, Mary Jo. On my 16th birthday, Mary Jo and I got into an argument because I was picking on her daughter. I was sent to my room. I called my friends to meet me on the corner and climbed out of the window. I got home around 6 o'clock that evening, afraid to go in the house. As I pushed the door open and stepped in, I heard, surprise! 6 of my girlfriends were sitting around the table, which were full of food and presents. Mary Jo had planned the party and cooked for me. She treated me like a princess in front of my friends. I felt so special, yet so guilty. When the party was over, Mary Jo said, Happy birthday, I love you, you're grounded. One day, I was walking past my dad and Mary Jo between the bedroom. I heard her crying. I don't remember what she was saying, but it was about me and how she never knew how tough it would all be. To say, I stopped acting out that we never fought again, be an exaggeration. But listening to her pain invited me one step closer to her. Most of my anger and hurt was about my father, his past actions, and the walls we had built between us over the years. Mary Jo was often caught in the middle. Over time, I came to love and respect her. Since the day my father had introduced her, I thought she was beautiful. I used to sincerely question, what do you see in him? She would tell me all the good things about my father. I was desperately trying to forget in an effort to hate him. I asked the question and heard the answer so much that I began to see good that she saw in him. I began to talk the love and acceptance that Mary Jo had poured into me and practice it on my father. After a while, there was a bridge where used to be a wall. When I was in trouble, Mary Jo dealt with my behavior directly. She told me what I had done wrong and what the punishment was going to be. She didn't make a big production. She made it clear what she would and would not tolerate. In the midst of it all, she built my self-esteem by saying things like, "You're better than that, and I expect more from someone like you." After hearing, "You're always doing things like this, and are you going to be a permanent problem?" For years I walked away from Mary Jo's lectures, feeling 2 inches taller. More important than how she dealt with my unruly behavior was that she taught me positive alternatives and introduced me to things I would feel good about. To an outsider, playing cards, cooking, and family dinners may be casual events, but these events were the shots of joy and self-worth to me. They were medicine for a sickness that could have lasted a lifetime. One of the strongest medicines I had ever tasted is running. That, too, was a gift from Mary Jo. She ran a 10-mile race that day. She married my father. I had never run before, but I figured if she could do it, so could I. I walked almost as much as I ran. However, I have run and won many races since that day. Mary Jo and I have run through mountains and neighborhoods together in high school. I ran track and cross country. I acted as if I didn't care if Mary Jo came to my races or not, as well as ignoring her when she did. Sometimes I wouldn't even tell her if I had one that she could come see, but she'd find out through the school before I'd start. I scanned the crowd. When I saw her face, though I told no one, comfort surged through my body. To say Mary Jo made a positive difference in my life is an understatement. She made a pivotal difference in my life. She served as a role model, a mother, and a friend. She taught me what it means to be a family and created events that make up some of the most cherished memories. She made every holiday a celebration. She passed down the gift of running, which has given me strength, peace, privacy, a place to cry, to pray, and to evolve. She taught me the manners that have allowed me to excel in business and in life. Above all, Mary Jo taught me about love. She showed me that love cures, love softens, love sees beneath the tough exterior, love changes people. Love is the creator of metamorphosis. Today I am proud for Mary Jo to call me her daughter, and I am privileged to call her my friend. Wow, what a beautiful tribute to her stepmother. I'm glad she finally came around. But yes, my friends, it's all about love and treating people good. And I thank you very much for that story, Alice Lundy Bloom. Touched my heart. Gratitude each day offers us a gift of being a special occasion. If we can simply learn that as well, as giving is a blessing to receive, with grace and a grateful heart. The next story that I would like to share with you this evening is called "I'm Okay, Mom and Dad." And the author is Locke Whitmore Wycliffes. Never part without loving words to think of during your absence. It may be that you will never meet again in this life. That was penned by Jean Paul Richter, and it's so true. When I returned home from the funeral of a church member, my grown daughter, Jenny, asked me about the service. I had been very moved by a story the priest told about dragonflies, so I shared it with Jen. A group of water bugs were talking one day about how they saw other water bugs climb up a lily pad and disappear from sight. They wondered where the other bugs could have gone. They promised one another that if one of them ever went up the lily pad and disappeared, it would come back and tell the others where it had gone. About a week later, one of the water bugs climbed the lily pad and emerged on the other side. As it sat there, it transformed into a dragonfly. Its body took on an iridescent sheen, and four beautiful wings sprouted from its back. The dragonfly flapped its wings and took off in flight, doing loops and spins through the sunlit sky. In the midst of its joyful flight, it remembered the promise it had made to return and tell the other bugs where it had gone. So the dragonfly swooped down to the surface of the water and tried to re-enter the water, but try as it would, it could not return. The dragonfly said to itself, "Well, I tried to keep my promise, but even if I did return, the others wouldn't recognize me in my new, glorious body. I guess I will just have to wait until they climb the lily pad to find out where I have gone and what I have become." When I finished relating this story, my daughter said, with tears running down her cheeks, "Oh, Mom, that really was a beautiful story." I agreed, and we talked for a while all about it. 2 days later, early Sunday morning, July 9th, 1995, Jenny came into my room, waking me up to say goodbye before leaving for work at a resort on Lake Ogopotochee. I hugged and kissed her and told her I would see her that night when I joined her for a week's vacation at the lake. I asked her if she had eaten breakfast and if she was wide awake, and we had been out late the night before. I knew she was tired. "Yes, Mom, I'll see you later." Several hours later, our worst nightmare began. Jenny had been involved in a head-on collision and was flown to Sioux City Falls, South Dakota. Thoughts crowded in on me. Why hadn't I fixed her breakfast? Did I tell her I loved her? If I did keep her with me a few minutes longer, would things have turned out differently? Why hadn't I hugged her a little longer? Why hadn't I kept her home with me that summer instead of letting her work at that lake? Why? We flew to Sioux City Falls and arrived at noon. Our Jen was hurt mortally, and at 10 o'clock that night, she died. If God had given me a choice, I would have traded places with her in a second. Jenny had so much to give this world. She was so bright, beautiful, and loving. On Friday of that week, my husband and I drove to the lake to see family, and we stopped to see where the accident had occurred. I don't remember a lot, but I know I was hysterical, trying to figure out what had happened and why. Leaving the scene of the accident, I asked my husband to take me to a greenhouse, as I needed to be around beautiful flowers. I just couldn't face anyone yet. Walking to the back of the hothouse, I heard the fluttering of wings, as if a bird or hummingbird was hitting the top of the roof. I was looking at a beautiful rose when a beautiful, large dragonfly landed within arm's length of me. I stood there looking at this lovely creature, and I cried. My husband walked in, and I looked at him and said, "Jenny is telling us that she's okay." We stood and looked at the lovely dragonfly for a long time, and as we walked out of the hothouse, the dragonfly remained on the rose. A couple of weeks later, my husband came running into the house telling me to come outside quickly. When I walked out our door, I could not believe what I saw. There were hundreds of dragonflies flying in front of our house, and between ours and the neighbors. I have never seen that many dragonflies at once in town. And the strangest thing about it was that they were only by our house. There is no way these two experiences were just coincidences. They were more than that. They were messages from Jen. Each time I see a dragonfly, beautiful memories of my daughter. Kiss my grieving heart. Oh my, what a very touching story. We've had some of those experiences, haven't we? So remember to always tell the people you love them every day. When they walk out that door, you never know what life is going to bring. Thank you so much, Locke Whitmore Rickles. God bless you. This next story that I'm going to share is called Mother and Son, and it's a heart-touching story. And the author is unknown. My mother used to ask me, what is the most important part of the body? Through the years, I would take a guess at what I thought was the correct answer. When I was younger, I thought sound was very important to us as humans, so I said, my ears, Mommy. She said, no, many people are deaf, but you keep thinking about it, and I will ask you again soon. Several years passed before she asked me again. Since making my first attempt, I had contemplated the correct answer, so this time I told her, Mommy, sight is very important to everybody, so it must be our eyes. She looked at me and told me, you are learning fast, but the answer is not correct because there are many people who are blind. Stumped again, I continued my quest for knowledge, and over the years, Mother asked me a couple more times. And always her answer was, no, but you're getting smarter every year, my child. Then one year, my grandfather died. Everybody was hurt. Everybody was crying. Even Father cried. I remember that especially because it was only the second time I saw him cry. My mom looked at me when it was our turn to say our final goodbye to my grandfather. She asked me, do you know the most important body part yet, my dear? I was shocked when she asked me this now. I always thought this was a game between her and me. She saw the confusion on my face and told me, this question is very important. It shows you that you have really lived in your life. For every body part you gave me in the past, I have told you you were wrong, and I have given you an example why. But today is the day you need to learn this important lesson. She looked down at me as only a mother can. I saw her eyes well up with tears. She said, my dear, the most important body part is your shoulder. I asked, is it because it holds up my head? She replied, no. It is because it can hold the head of a friend or a loved one when they cry. Everybody needs a shoulder to cry on sometime in life, my dear. I only hope that you have enough love and friends that you will always have a shoulder to cry on when you need it. Then and there I knew the most important body part is not a selfish one. It is made for others, not for yourself. It is sympathetic to the pain of others. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. I looked up the definition of a mother. What is a mother? And this is what I found. A mother is officially defined as a female parent, encompassing a woman who has borne a child, adopted a child, or raised a child. Beyond biological roles, a mother is often recognized as a woman in a position of authority, or a nurturing figure providing care and guidance similar to a parent. A mother is a nurturing figure, a woman who exercises care, tenderness, and influence, often described as having maternal affection. That was the definition that I found. I would like to finish this podcast today with a story that was written by Adrienne Johnson, and her writing is called The True Meaning of a Mother. And she also had this Urban Dictionary, the word mother. According to the Urban Dictionary, the word mother means the woman who loves you unconditionally from birth, the one who puts her kids before herself, and the one you can always count on above everyone else. Life as a mother. The statement that people will hear most moms make is, a mother's job is never done. This statement couldn't be more true. Life as a mother is filled with every emotion any person could ever attempt to imagine. Yet, it is also one of the most rewarding experiences of someone's life. Being a mom isn't just about being a mom. A mom and a wife will have every possible job that multiple people will have, and a mom is only one person. It's also a job that is the most selfless job of any person. A mother's job is never done. This job, there is no such thing as a time clock, sick days, vacation days, 2 15-minute breaks. It's not a day where someone can bet it's just a normal routine day. Being a mother, you never truly know what your day is going to entitle. There truly is not enough hours in one day to even accomplish everything that is needing to be done. At times you're lucky if you get a full night of sleeping without being awoken or your sleep cycles being disrupted. If you're a mom that can wear a white shirt for a day with your children not have to be using bleach or a stain remover, then hats off to you. I haven't been able to accomplish that task yet myself. Many jobs and duties of a mom. When you're a mom, even a working mom, you have many different jobs, yet the jobs at home tend to be more in demand than your job you'll get paid to go work to. Here's a job list of a mom. A taxi, a cook, a maid, a laundry service, a teacher, a counselor, referee more often than you like to be, the hug after a bad day, scares the monsters away, you're a storyteller, you're the biggest fan, you're the person that does all the discipline, enemy when they don't get their way, you're the mending of a broken heart, the team captain, the organizer, the party planner, the photographer, a shoulder to cry on, the safe place to lay, the best friend. Lists could go on and on with many duties or jobs that a mom truly has. The most do not understand. There's where that $65,000 a year comes in. Yeah. The hardest part of being a mom, many times also, our children or our spouse even know we question or doubt ourselves. Being a mom is a constant battle of wondering if you're doing the best you can do, if you're teaching your child right or being the best example to lead them. If you're a bad mom, or you can say you're a good mom. The biggest question you ask yourself more than I'd care to admit is, how many mistakes am I making at trying to make my children be amazing adults? Us moms have so much self-doubt within ourselves, and we keep it to ourselves most of the time. Questioning yourself as a mother means you're doing something right. I've been shocked at my 2 oldest sons of my 6 children. Seeing the young boys they have become shocks me more often than someone would think. Here I question myself so much that I see what my preteen does or acts, and I realize I'm doing a pretty good job. He'll be 13 next year, and his teachers, coaches, and friends, parents give me the best compliments. Many times I had thoughts of, well, you don't live with him, which most of us parents will say. He isn't getting into trouble, and he gives his all with everything he does. Us women are truly our worst critics. We sit back and look at our growing children and feel like we blinked and our oldest is going to be a teenager, wondering where the time had gone. Nobody said being a parent was going to be easy, and we all know our children didn't come with instructions or a manual. So, with that being said, look at your children and listen to those compliments from others. This is your proof that you truly are being an amazing parent, a mother, or a single parent. We love them when we carry them, and we will love them until it's our time to leave this world. Be proud of what amazing accomplishments you have done, because your children will forever be your greatest achievement. Thank you so much, Adrienne Johnson, for that lovely write-up. And it is all so true. And thank you all for listening today. I hope all you mothers out there have a wonderful, beautiful sunshine day filled with love and kindness and beautiful memories. Happy Mother's Day to you all. Until next time, take care and may God bless. This is Natalie Silver with Life Treasures and Golden Moments.